Technology has always been the name of the game when it comes to filmmaking. Videographers have always been looking for a better and more cost-effective way to tell their stories. It doesn't take long to see how film tech has shaped the video world when looking back through some of the biggest films through the ages. And now, the next major leap in video production technology is here, and it is virtual productions. Now, let's break this statement down for a moment, because I don't want you to miss this. Virtual productions is not just for blockbuster movies and Hollywood studios. This tech is here, and it is changing the game for anyone who calls themselves a filmmaker. Okay, so first, let's define exactly what virtual production is, and more importantly, how it affects us as videographers. According to every high school teacher's most trusted source, virtual production involves a television studio or film studio that allows the real-time combination of people or other real objects and computer-generated environments and other computer-generated objects in a seamless manner. In other words, the boundaries and previous physical limitations to creativity are now unlocked. There is a reason some of the world's largest companies, including Epic Games, are heavily investing in augmented and virtual reality, even down to the consumer level. According to an IDC report, global spending on VR is forecasted to accelerate from $12 billion in 2020 to $72.8 billion in just 2024. But I want to talk about what this massive shift in this new tech space means for filmmakers. Let's rewind the clock to the tail end of 2019 when Disney Plus first launched its brand new show called The Mandalorian. As someone who is obsessed with behind the scenes breakdowns of movies, The Mandalorian proved to be something special. See, The Mandalorian attempted to shoot many of its scenes using virtual production technology that had never been attempted at that level or at that scale. In fact, David Moore, who heads up Epic Games LA Lab, said that this project demonstrated the most multifaceted use of their technology yet. But don't just take my word for it. The show went on to win 7 Emmys, including Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a season or a movie. This technology is more than just standing in front of a green screen. Shooting on a virtual set allows the environment being filmed to move around in real time with your camera and your subject. This real-time on-set rendering expands the possibilities of where you can shoot and brings many of our videographer pipe dreams to an obtainable level. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I am no expert on virtual production yet. However, this new style of filmmaking has been on my radar for quite some time now, and I wanted to bring you along this journey. I believe there is a real value for creatives investing in this space, and the more you know, the better. So let's dive in. Let's first talk about what you need for a virtual video set. Now, you can get pretty deep in the woods on this, so for simplicity's sake, I want to keep this at a 1,000-foot overview. On a basic level, you'll need a camera, trackers, a powerful computer, and a backdrop. As for software, the current leader for virtual reality is Unreal Engine, developed by Epic Games. A good portion of the software is free, and there are hundreds of assets already designed and created for various environments you may want to create your scene in. For your camera, I would recommend shooting with the highest resolution possible. The more data, the better. A lot of these productions start out with high-end cinema cameras. However, we've even seen some creators use their phones in order to pull off some of these virtual production shots. As for trackers, the going recommendation is the HTC Vive. These trackers are typically placed around the set, near the background, and on the camera. They are spatially aware, so that way they know exactly where your camera is when it's moving around on set. This is imperative to pulling off the parallax effect of a virtual background movement. That way it stays relative to your subject. You with me so far? Because this next item is pretty crucial. See, virtual production is not something you can just deal with later in post if your computer doesn't have enough muscle. Virtual production renders in real time, and the camera captures your subjects as well as the virtual production in your real space as you move. So to mimic that true to life movement and avoid the jitters in your scene, you need a really powerful computer. Here at the studio, we have the Dell Precision 5750 workstation with the Xeon processor processor that Dell sent out to us, and this computer has all the power we need in order to run Unreal Engine without any issues. Now, full disclosure, Dell has sponsored this video, but it actually works out perfectly, as we needed a computer with the capabilities that this one has in order to explore this world of virtual production. Because Unreal Engine software allows you to see what your final image will look like while shooting, having a good monitor on set that can accurately portray the details and the colors being rendered is super helpful. We have the Dell UltraSharp UP3221Q, which is a bright mini LED HDR monitor with dimming zones. This pairs perfectly with our 5750 workstation as a powerful working tool that we need in order to run our software for virtual productions. But let's talk backdrops, the last major component we mentioned earlier. There are two different ways to achieve a virtual production in terms of your own setup. The first is to have an LED wall or projected screen behind your talent. The second is to have a green screen backdrop, but you can achieve similar results with either method. Because of the more practical setup and the lower cost of entry, many filmmakers are taking advantage of the green screen method. Now, you might hear all of this and, like me, begin to feel overwhelmed or even possibly excited in order to move forward. Maybe you shoot YouTube videos and you don't want your bedroom as a background, or maybe you're working on your first short film and your budget doesn't cover a flight across the country. But either way, you really should be excited because the tech of the Hollywood movie studios is becoming accessible for everyday videographers. But before you get overly sold on this, let's talk about a few of the major challenges of virtual production. The first is simply learning Unreal Engine software. As with any new program, there are going to be some learning curves, but some software knowledge has more value than others. For instance, some new editing platforms pop up with a blaze of glory and endless promises only to never be heard from again. But this tech has already been around for years and in the gaming world, and the benefits of it are just beginning to spill over into the video space. Unreal has already been adopted by major studios like Disney and the show Mandalorian, and the software is owned by Epic Games, who is consistently sending out updates to the tech as the program continues to grow in the video making world. If you're asking me how steep the learning curve is, I'm not gonna sit here and really pull any punches. Understanding this program is going to take some time and dedication, but some investments are actually worth it. The next hurdle is more of a physical one, and this is just simply your graphics card. While your computer's processor is responsible for completing all the tasks you throw at it, the graphics card, or your GPU, specializes in rendering high-resolution images. Confused about all of this? All right, think about it like you as a videographer. You might edit, script, shoot, color, storyboard, and so on and so on. Having a GPU is like hiring an assistant to edit, someone to take on those more specific tasks and get them off your hands in order for you, as the processor, to work more efficiently. Now, to take this analogy one step further, I want to put forward the idea that not all tasks are equal. Sometimes you have to make videos that will have heavy edits on them, right? And the better the editor you hire, the more work that is removed from your shoulders. And a good GPU is key when it comes to computing tasks that are visually intense. And virtual productions? Well, as you can imagine, it's right up there. Here at the studio, we have the NVIDIA Quattro RTX A3000 GPU, and this graphics card can handle the heavy lifting Unreal Engine requires while having the technology for a lower profile professional workstation, such as in the Dell 5750. The NVIDIA RTX 3000 can transform your workflow with real-time ray tracing and accelerated AI to create photorealistic concepts, run AI augmented applications, or render compelling VR environments. But now that you have a bird's eye view of what you need, let's talk about the future of this tech. As with all tech that has come before, the barrier of entry will only become lower and more practical over time. If we look back to how gimbals came into the video space, we can see how the technology slowly but surely trickled down as it was refined. Gimbals changed the game for videographers. big and small, and virtual productions is the next big leap for video. To push this notion even further, I believe that we'll see an influx of creators entering into this space as a consequence of the tech becoming more accessible. You see, virtual production is a collision of two worlds. We have videographers on one side trying to tell their stories using the best tools possible, and on the other, we have digital artists. Programs like Unreal Engine allow directors and videographers to browse a catalog of digital landscapes, rocks, and assets that were all created by graphic designers and digital artists. Some film sets already have Unreal Engine experts on hand in order to change the scene while shooting. See, the future of this tech will change how we light our talent, how we shoot our scenes, how we think about even our scripts. You can change the weather or hold on to a sunset until you actually get the shot. See, the possibilities are really endless. I hope you can see why I'm personally so excited about this next chapter as far as film tech and where it'll take us. We as a production company, we already look forward to diving deeper into virtual productions ourselves and creating our first pieces of content in virtual productions. So I just want to say thank you again to Dell for sponsoring this video and allowing us to explore virtual productions further, and we can't wait to see what we even personally create in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I know this was a lot to take in, but whether you're a bedroom YouTuber or you're making your own movies, this affects pretty much all of us. Be sure to leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this topic and what ideas you have as far as implementing them within virtual productions, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.